They called me not VIP, and in that single moment, something inside me cracked so loudly I could almost hear it echo down that polished hallway. My name is Grace Whitmore, and I was 34 the year my world split in two, before that moment and after it. It wasn't just the words or the condescending tone or the way they looked at me like I didn't belong. It was how those words dragged up every quiet humiliation I had swallowed for years. Every time I had made myself small to keep the peace. Every memory of how invisible I had allowed myself to become. I didn't know then that those words would become the spark that burned down everything hurting me and everything that needed to go. I had spent 12 years with a man who could make a room warm with his smile and cold with his silence. His name was Lucas. For most of my 20s and early 30s, I thought loving him was my purpose. I built my world around him, not realizing how tiny that world had become. He was successful, polished, charming, one of those men who always seemed to know how to impress the room. And I was the woman behind him. Not out of self-pity, but truth. I believed support belonged in the background. I believed loyalty meant standing behind the person you loved. I never realized that standing behind someone too long makes you forget you have legs of your own. The night they called me not VIP, I wasn't supposed to feel out of place. It was Lucas's big company gala, something he had talked about for months. He said it was important that I was there, that people needed to see the woman behind the man. I thought he finally wanted to share the spotlight with me. But all week, something already felt off. His phone stayed face down. His compliments became mechanical. He stopped asking about my day, or even when he did, his eyes weren't listening. There was a distance between us, quiet, constant, like an invisible third person in the room. Still, I believed we could fix it. Love makes you hopeful like that, sometimes blindly hopeful. The gala was at a luxury hotel downtown, the kind with chandeliers like frozen waterfalls and carpets soft enough to sink into. I spent extra time getting ready. I wore a deep ivy green dress that made me feel elegant, womanly, powerful. I wanted Lucas to look at me the way he used to, like I was magic. But the moment we arrived, that hope vanished. He walked ahead of me, not beside me, not holding my hand, not even glancing back. He moved through the crowd like a king entering his kingdom, shaking hands, laughing too loudly, charming everyone except me. He disappeared into conversations I wasn't invited into. The only time he approached me was to grab a drink off a tray. A quick, "You good?" Then he was gone again. Eventually, I stepped outside the ballroom to breathe. Near the elevator was a sign, VIP Lounge, access only. I knew Lucas was inside. Someone mentioned he'd gone in with partners. I wasn't trying to intrude. I just wanted to tell him I was stepping away, maybe even ask if he could join me for a moment so we could reconnect. I walked toward the entrance with a small, hopeful smile, but the two women at the check-in table didn't smile back. One gave me that high school look, the silent, "Who let you over here?" The other flipped through the guest list when I said my name. Her fingers slid down the page, then stopped. She leaned to whisper something, smirking. Then she looked at me with a practiced smile. "I'm sorry, but you're not VIP." Not VIP. The words hit like a slap. Not because I was embarrassed, but because in that moment I realized Lucas hadn't put my name on the list. Not by accident, intentionally. He had separated me from the world he wanted to belong to. And then came the second twist. As I stepped back, I heard laughter through the partially open VIP door. I glanced inside, just once, and saw Lucas. Not with partners, not talking business. He was standing very close to a woman I'd never seen. Gorgeous, polished, wearing a shimmering silver dress. She leaned into his arm, whispered something, and he laughed. His breathy, intimate laugh. The laugh he used to save only for me. When I reached home that night, I expected silence. the kind that lets you collapse without witnesses. But instead, something else was waiting for me. Something small enough to miss if you weren't paying attention, and devastating enough to crush whatever hope I had left. It was a scent, not mine, not his cologne. A soft, powdery, floral trace that didn't belong in my house. It floated near the couch, the stairs, the hallway, like a ghost of someone who had been there long enough to feel comfortable. I stood still, breathing it in, letting the truth settle into my bones. He didn't just keep me out of the VIP lounge. He brought her into our home, our sanctuary, the place I had loved, decorated, protected. There are moments when pain doesn't hit like lightning. It drips, slow and relentless. And as it dripped through me, something inside shifted. I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was awakening. Upstairs, our room felt unfamiliar. The air carried a faint trace of heat mixed with that same floral perfume. The comforter was slightly uneven, as if someone had sat there. A long blonde hair rested on the pillow like a silent confession. I didn't touch it. I didn't scream. I didn't collapse. I simply stared at it until my vision blurred, remembering every sign I had ignored, every cold moment I excused, every time I convinced myself love meant endurance. But endurance can turn into imprisonment if you give it to the wrong person. I walked to the mirror and really looked at myself. My makeup was still in place, but the woman staring back looked exhausted, heartbroken, yet strangely calm. Soft, yes, but beneath that softness was steel, something that had been asleep for far too long. I washed my face slowly, removing every trace of the night, as if peeling away the version of me who tolerated too much. When the last bit of mascara disappeared down the drain, I felt lighter, cleaner, almost reborn. I slept without dreams, wrapped in empty, quiet darkness. And when morning came, something inside me had changed permanently. The first sign was how silent I felt on the inside. The pain was still there, but it was focused, sharp and purposeful, like a blade carved from fire. Lucas came home at 7 a.m. I heard him move through the hallway, shower, get dressed, and leave again without checking on me. And that's when I knew. He expected me to stay silent, to swallow everything, to keep being the woman who loved him more than herself. Men like him always mistake silence for weakness. They forget silence is where planning begins. I didn't confront him that day or the next. I didn't slam doors or demand answers. I made myself quiet, soft, almost invisible. Because invisible women hear everything, and invisible women learn fast. Over the next 2 weeks, I gathered the truth without leaving fingerprints. Receipts in his jacket, lip gloss smudges on coffee cups in his car, text messages he didn't hide well, a hotel confirmation he forgot to delete, a second toothbrush behind the sink. Each clue was a brick in the wall between us. But instead of panicking, I observed. Instead of accusing, I listened. Instead of breaking, I sharpened. The woman's name was Camila. I learned it from a monogrammed scarf in the back seat. She worked with him, newer, younger, the kind of woman who still believed ambition required stepping over women who stood silently in the way. But I wasn't angry at her, not yet. She owed me nothing. He owed me everything. The true betrayal wasn't just the affair. It was discovering he had already begun planning a life without me. A private bank account, updated benefits, a new emergency contact, a property division draft with his lawyer months before I even suspected anything. I wasn't losing him. I had already been erased. Still, he came home every night, kissed the air near my cheek, ate the dinner I made, slept in the bed we once dreamed in. He played the role of a committed partner while living a double life. But I didn't break. I changed, quietly and strategically. I organized finances in my favor, met with a therapist, saved money, gathered evidence not to destroy him, but to protect myself. Then one morning, he left his laptop open long enough for me to see the message confirming their weekend getaway, the same romantic retreat he once took me to. That was when the real anger came. Not loud anger, cold anger, cleansing anger. The kind that whispers, "This is where you rise." I didn't stop him from going. I didn't question him. I let him go, because his absence gave me space to build the beginning of his end, not through cruelty, but through justice. I used that weekend wisely. I copied documents, redirected mail, moved important items into a storage unit under my name, opened my own account, met an attorney, not to start a battle, but to understand the rules. His betrayal wouldn't destroy me, it would free me. He returned Sunday night smelling of pine and expensive wine. I acted sleepy, unbothered. He offered nothing, and I asked nothing. But guilt flickered in his eyes, thin as a trembling flame. He sensed my distance but didn't know why, and that uncertainty began eating at him. He touched me more, trying to paste affection back into place. He asked about my day as if he suddenly cared. He tried to be charming again, but guilt makes consistency impossible. That's the thing about guilty people. They think suspicion comes from the outside. They never imagine the quietest person in the room already knows everything. One night as he showered, I sat on the edge of the bed and realized something profound. I didn't want him anymore. Not his apologies, not his explanations, not his promises. I didn't want the broken version of a love that once made me feel whole. I wanted myself. And that realization was the beginning of my revenge. Not loud revenge, not dramatic revenge, but revenge through self-ownership. Revenge through clarity. Revenge through becoming the woman he tried to make invisible. Because nothing haunts a betrayer more than watching the person they discarded rise. But the moment that changed everything came a week later, quiet, unexpected, chilling. It started with an envelope left on the kitchen counter, one I wasn't meant to see, one that carried the cruelest twist of all, one that transformed my quiet revenge into something far more powerful, far more strategic, far more poetic. Because inside that envelope was the truth that changed everything. And that was where real justice began. Inside that envelope was a future I had never been invited into, a future planned without me, a future where I didn't exist. It was a formal letter, neat, polished, emotionless, and it took me a moment to absorb what I was looking at. A luxury real estate contract, a penthouse, a deposit receipt, a move-in date, and on the line that said primary resident in crisp black print was her name. Not mine, not his, hers, Camila. In that moment, I realized Lucas hadn't just fallen out of love with me. He had replaced me, erased me, rewritten the life I thought we were building, and handed it to a woman who had no idea what it had cost me to hold everything together. My stomach didn't drop from shock or fear. Those emotions had burned out long ago. What I felt was something colder, something clearer. Understanding. He had already moved on, emotionally, mentally, and even logistically. I was the last one to know I had already been removed from my own life. The air around me felt too still, too quiet, like the world was pausing to ask what I would do with the truth now heavy in my trembling hands. And here's what surprised even me. I didn't cry. I didn't crumble. I didn't beg for answers. I simply exhaled and placed the envelope back on the counter with the gentle care you give something fragile but meaningless. Because that's what Lucas had become, fragile and meaningless. What devastated me wasn't losing him. It was realizing how long I had been holding on to someone who had already let go. That night, I slept soundlessly. When I woke up, I felt lighter than I had in years. Betrayal had cut me open, but the wound had become a doorway. And on the other side of that doorway lived something I had forgotten. My power, my identity, my independence, my self-worth. I decided that morning I would not confront him. Not yet. Not until the moment I chose. Not until the moment it mattered. Not until the moment the truth would hit him harder than anything he could ever imagine. My revenge would not be loud. It wouldn't be dramatic or messy. It would be quiet, graceful, and devastatingly precise. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply the truth delivered at the exact moment it can't be denied. I began with the practical things first. Small steps, calm ones. Steps a weaker version of me would have never taken. I called my own attorney, someone who understood women like me, women who give everything, lose everything, and then rise higher than anyone expects. We worked for hours gathering documents, listing assets, organizing evidence, building a strategy that was clean, sharp, and impossible for him to escape. When my attorney looked at everything I had collected, receipts, emails, screenshots, financial inconsistencies, recordings of his indirect confessions, she told me something I never expected to hear. I wasn't powerless. I was holding all the power. In the afternoons, I visited the storage unit I rented. I brought sentimental items, personal documents, my grandmother's jewelry, my journals, photographs, the books I loved too much to risk leaving behind. Piece by piece, I removed my life from Lucas's house while he remained blissfully unaware. Every night, I returned home calmer and stronger. Every morning, he left for work thinking everything was normal. The irony of his ignorance was almost poetic. He had become so comfortable in his lies that he didn't notice the truth quietly packing itself away each night. But the emotional revenge had already started. It began with the way I changed around him. I wasn't bitter, I wasn't cold, I wasn't clingy or suspicious. I didn't argue or question him. I became serene, untouchable. I became the version of myself I always wished I had been. I woke up earlier, cooked breakfast only for myself, left the house before he did. I came home later, wearing clothes that made me feel confident. I wore soft makeup, a quiet shield. I smelled of sandalwood and jasmine. The scents he used to say pulled him closer, and suddenly they did. As I grew lighter, he grew restless. As I grew calmer, he grew uneasy. As I grew stronger, he grew jealous. He couldn't understand why I wasn't asking questions. He couldn't understand why I didn't complain about him coming home late. He couldn't understand why I wasn't clinging to the last scraps of our relationship. He couldn't understand that I was already gone. Guilty people don't handle peace well. They crave chaos because chaos distracts them from their own guilt. But I refused to give him that chaos. I let him sit alone with the discomfort of my silence. One evening, I was sipping tea at the kitchen island when I felt him watching me, not with love or tenderness, but with confusion, like he was trying to solve a puzzle he didn't know he had created. That's when I knew my emotional revenge was working. He wanted me to fight for him so he could feel desired. He wanted me to cry so he could feel powerful. He wanted me to lose control so he could justify what he had done. But I gave him nothing, and nothing hurt him more than that. And the most poetic part was this. The woman he replaced me with began to feel his shift too. She didn't know it, but she was becoming a mirror of the insecure version of me I once was. I saw the signs in him, the tension in his shoulders, the tiredness under his eyes, the new scratches on his neck. Not passion, but arguments. Men like Lucas don't replace you with someone better. They replace you with someone who makes them feel bigger, someone easier to impress, someone easier to manipulate, someone desperate to be chosen. He called Camila an upgrade, but the truth was simple. He downgraded, and he knew it. But the final twist came when I found a second envelope, hidden in the glove compartment of his car. Thin, white, unmarked. Inside was a sonogram, a blurry little shape with a name printed underneath it. Not my name, hers. Camila. Pregnant. 8 weeks. I stared at it until my vision blurred, not with jealousy, not with pain, but with a clarity so sharp it felt like glass. He hadn't just moved on. He had started a new family before ending the one he had, and he still expected me to stay quiet. I didn't hate him. I didn't even feel broken anymore. I felt purpose. A purpose so calm and grounded that it felt like strength growing inside my bones. Because betrayal is painful, yes, but creating a new life on top of someone you've destroyed, that is cruelty. That is cowardice. That is the kind of thing the universe does not let go unpaid. And I was ready to deliver the bill. That was the moment everything inside me shifted from quiet revenge to true justice. The day I would walk away, the day he would lose the woman he took for granted, the day he would realize I had known everything, the day he would understand the cost of underestimating a woman who has finally found her voice. And that day was coming far sooner than he could ever imagine. When I walked out of that building for the last time, the air felt different, lighter, almost like life itself was telling me, "You're done proving. Now, just live." Because somewhere between being insulted, being ignored, and being underestimated, I found myself. Not the broken version they tried to create, but the powerful woman I was always meant to be. And the real twist came a week later. I got an email, not from the receptionist, not from the manager who told me I wasn't VIP enough, but from the company's director, the same director who never even knew I existed back when they denied me entry. The email said they wanted to collaborate with me because they had seen my growth, my achievements, and my rising influence. It almost made me laugh, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. I didn't rise to get invited back. I rose so high that their invitation didn't matter anymore. So I replied with a single line. Respect isn't a membership, it's a mindset. No anger, no grudge, just truth. And that was it. That was my closure. Because the greatest revenge isn't revenge at all. It's peace. It's growth. It's becoming someone who no longer needs validation from people who once couldn't see your worth. And now, looking back, I'm grateful they called me not VIP, because they unknowingly pushed me toward becoming the kind of woman who creates her own VIP section. One where self-worth, dignity, and confidence are the only requirements. If you're listening to my story right now, I hope you remember this. Your value doesn't come from who accepts you. It comes from who you decide to become.
And if my journey touched even a small part of your heart, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Your support means more to me than you'll ever know.